The central idea of the art of money getting is that financial success is achieved through hard work, strategic decision-making, and disciplined money management. Barnum stresses the importance of choosing the right profession, being systematic, avoiding unnecessary risks, and using practical methods such as advertising and self-reliance to build and sustain wealth. His philosophy highlights that true prosperity comes not from luck or speculation, but from diligence, integrity, and smart financial habits. These are the fundamentals ideas we will cover in today's summary. Welcome to the Millionaire Reader. The first chapter, Don't Mistake Your Vocation, emphasizes the importance of choosing a profession that aligns with one's natural talents and inclinations. Barnum warns against the common mistake of parents arbitrarily assigning careers to their children without considering their individual aptitudes. We are all, no doubt, born for a wise purpose. There is as much diversity in our brains as in our countenances, he states, highlighting that some people are naturally inclined toward mechanics, while others may have no aptitude for it at all. He illustrates this with an example of a boy forced into watchmaking despite having no interest or talent for it, resulting in a lifetime of struggle and dissatisfaction. Barnum argues that true success and fulfillment come only when individuals pursue careers suited to their innate abilities, stating, "Unless a man enters upon the vocation intended for him by nature and best suited to his peculiar genius, he cannot succeed." This principle applies across all professions, from blacksmiths to clergymen, reinforcing the idea that personal inclination should guide career choices rather than societal expectations or family pressure. The second chapter, Select the Right Location, underscores the crucial role that location plays in achieving success in any profession. Barnum explains that even if someone chooses the perfect vocation, failure is inevitable if they establish themselves in the wrong place. You may have been cut out for a hotel keeper, yet if you should locate your house in a small village where there is no railroad communication or public travel, the location would be your ruin. He warns against entering oversaturated markets where competition is already fierce, advising that a person must carefully evaluate demand before starting a business. To illustrate his point, he recounts an encounter with a talented showman in London who struggled financially because of poor location choice. Barnum recognized his potential and offered him a job in America, where he later thrived, proving that the right place can transform one's fortunes. He concludes that just as 3 removes are as bad as a fire, sometimes relocating is necessary when one's talents are wasted in an unprofitable setting. This chapter reinforces the idea that success is not just about skill and effort, but also about placing oneself in an environment where those qualities can flourish. The third chapter, Avoid Debt, stresses the dangers of falling into debt and how it can cripple a person's financial and personal freedom. Barnum describes debt as a slavish position that drags people down, making them feel burdened and robbing them of their self-respect. He illustrates this with the example of a young man who proudly says, "Look at this. I have got trusted for a new suit of clothes," believing he has gained something when, in reality, he has only incurred a future obligation. Barnum argues that debt creates a cycle of dependence, where one is constantly working to pay off past expenses rather than building wealth for the future, calling this working for a dead horse. He makes a distinction between productive debt, such as credit used for business growth, and frivolous borrowing for luxuries, warning that the latter leads to poverty. Quoting John Randolph, he declares, "I have discovered the philosopher's stone. Pay as you go." By avoiding unnecessary credit and living within one's means, a person can maintain financial stability and avoid the anxiety and hardship that debt inevitably brings. The fourth chapter, Persevere, highlights the essential role of determination and persistence in achieving success. Barnum warns against those who are born tired, people who lack self-reliance and give up too easily. He insists that perseverance is often the defining trait between success and failure, citing Shakespeare's famous words, "There's a tide in the affairs of men, which, taken at the flood, leads on to fortune." Hesitation and self-doubt, he explains, allow opportunities to slip away, while those who push forward with confidence are the ones who succeed. He contrasts 2 types of individuals: those who face financial setbacks and surrender to despair, and those who, despite challenges, keep moving forward, trusting in their ability to overcome obstacles. He reminds the reader of Solomon's wisdom. He becometh poor that dealeth with a slack hand, but the hand of the diligent maketh rich. Just as a determined general leads his army to victory despite overwhelming odds, Barnum argues that perseverance in business and in life is the key to reaching one's goals, ensuring that failure is only temporary for those who refuse to quit. The fifth chapter, Whatever You Do, Do It With All Your Might, emphasizes the importance of dedication, diligence, and thoroughness in any endeavor. Barnum argues that success comes to those who give their best effort, stating, "Work at it if necessary, early and late, in season and out of season, not leaving a stone unturned." He criticizes those who do things halfway, explaining that many people fail simply because they do not fully commit to their work, while those who apply themselves completely are the ones who rise above the rest. Citing an old proverb, he reminds the reader, whatever is worth doing at all is worth doing well. He contrasts the ambitious, hardworking individual with the idle dreamer, warning that waiting for luck or a chance to bring success is a sure path to failure. Fortune always favors the brave, he asserts, reinforcing that those who take action, rather than waiting for opportunities to fall into their lap, are the ones who ultimately achieve financial and personal prosperity. The sixth chapter, Depend Upon Your Own Personal Exertions, stresses the necessity of self-reliance and personal involvement in one's business. Barnum asserts that no one will take as much care of an enterprise as its owner, emphasizing, the eye of the employer is often worth more than the hands of a dozen employees. He warns against blind dependence on others, arguing that even the best workers can overlook important details that a dedicated business owner would catch. Success, he insists, requires first-hand knowledge and experience. No man has a right to expect prosperity unless he thoroughly understands his trade. A man may be a manufacturer. He has got to learn the many details of his business personally. He will learn something every day, and he will find he will make mistakes nearly every day. Barnum underscores that mistakes, when acknowledged and learned from, become stepping stones to success. He concludes that self-reliance, coupled with experience and attention to detail, is a key principle for achieving financial independence and avoiding the pitfalls of careless delegation. The seventh chapter, Use the Best Tools, highlights the importance of employing skilled and reliable people in business, as well as using high-quality resources to achieve success. Barnum warns that no one can afford to work with inefficient tools or incompetent employees, stating, "Understand, you cannot have too good tools to work with, and there is no tool you should be so particular about as living tools." He argues that a good employee becomes more valuable over time as they gain experience, and it is often wiser to retain and fairly compensate them than to constantly replace workers. However, he cautions against employees who believe themselves indispensable and demand excessive wages, asserting, "Whenever I have such an employee, I always discharge him." He emphasizes that intelligence and problem-solving ability are just as important as manual labor, citing Henry Ward Beecher's illustration, "Hands are not worth much without heads." Ultimately, Barnum's message is clear. Whether it is machinery, materials, or employees, quality and competence are essential for long-term business prosperity. The eighth chapter, Don't Get Above Your Business, warns against the dangers of arrogance and the reluctance to engage in hard work. Barnum criticizes young men who, after completing their apprenticeship, refuse to continue working in their trade because they believe certain jobs are beneath them. He mocks their overconfidence, illustrating their mindset. "I have learned my business, but I am not going to be a hireling. I will wait until I can establish myself." He warns that waiting idly for wealth or an inheritance is a foolish gamble, as there is no greater mistake than when a young man believes he will succeed with borrowed money. He cites successful businessmen like John Jacob Astor and Cornelius Vanderbilt, who started with nothing but built vast fortunes through perseverance and hard work. Barnum stresses that true success comes from mastering one's craft, remaining humble, and being willing to work diligently. The poor boys get rich, and the rich boys get poor, he observes, reinforcing the idea that wealth is earned through effort, not entitlement. The ninth chapter, Learn Something Useful, emphasizes the importance of acquiring practical skills or a profession that can serve as a safety net in times of financial hardship. Barnum argues that fortunes are unpredictable. In these days of changing fortunes, of being rich today and poor tomorrow, so every person should possess a trade or knowledge that ensures they can always earn a living. He advises parents to make sure their children learn something valuable, regardless of their current wealth, stating that such preparation can save many persons from misery. He stresses that financial stability is not guaranteed and that even the wealthy should equip themselves with skills that provide independence. Barnum's message is clear. Practical knowledge is an asset that lasts a lifetime, ensuring that, no matter what happens, one can stand on their own feet and rebuild when necessary. The 10th chapter, Let Hope Predominate But Be Not Too Visionary, warns against excessive optimism that blinds individuals to reality and leads them to financial ruin. Barnum acknowledges the importance of hope as a driving force for success, but criticizes those who are constantly chasing new ventures without solid foundations. He describes such individuals as always being in hot water, always under the harrow, never settling into a stable and productive path. He cautions against the folly of counting the chickens before they are hatched, a mistake that has persisted through the ages and does not improve with time. While ambition and confidence are essential, Barnum stresses that success comes from practical action rather than mere dreams. He urges readers to temper their aspirations with realism, ensuring that they build their fortunes on firm ground rather than speculation. The 11th chapter, Do Not Scatter Your Powers, emphasizes the importance of focus and dedication to a single business or profession rather than dividing attention among multiple ventures. Barnum warns that engaging in too many pursuits at once weakens a person's ability to succeed in any of them, stating that a constant hammering on one nail will generally drive it home at last, so that it can be clinched. He argues that a divided mind prevents individuals from recognizing valuable improvements and opportunities that would otherwise arise from deep engagement in a single field. Many fortunes, he asserts, have been lost because their owners stretched themselves too thin, failing to build expertise in any one endeavor. The key to lasting success lies in undivided attention and perseverance, for when a man's undivided attention is centered on one object, his mind will constantly be suggesting improvements of value. To illustrate his point, he references the wisdom of the old adage cautioning against having too many irons in the fire, a mistake that has led countless individuals to squander their potential by chasing too many opportunities at once instead of mastering one. The 12th chapter, Be Systematic, highlights the crucial role of organization and discipline in achieving success. Barnum insists that a person who follows a structured approach to work, having a time and place for everything, doing his work promptly, will always accomplish more with less effort than someone who operates in a careless and disorderly manner. He stresses that a systematic approach allows for both productivity and leisure, while those who work haphazardly will never know when his day's work is done, for it never will be done. However, he also warns against excessive rigidity, pointing out that some people organize their affairs so meticulously that they put away things so carefully that they can never find them again. Barnum illustrates his point with an amusing anecdote about a hotel that prided itself on its strict system, even going so far as to summon 60 servants with water buckets at the ring of a fire bell to impress guests. Yet, when an Irish worker was hastily assigned as a waiter and told to serve soup first, he stubbornly refused to clear an untouched plate, insisting, "Not till you have ate your soup." This humorous story serves as a caution against over-systematization, reinforcing Barnum's belief that while discipline and organization are essential, they must be balanced with practicality and common sense. The 13th chapter, Read the Newspapers, underscores the importance of staying informed about the world, especially in an era of rapid advancements and constant change. Barnum asserts that he who is without a newspaper is cut off from his species, emphasizing that knowledge of current events, market trends, and technological innovations is essential for personal and financial success. He argues that newspapers serve as a direct link to new opportunities, warning that those who neglect them will soon find themselves and their businesses left out in the cold. In a world where new inventions and improvements are constantly emerging in every industry, ignorance is a dangerous disadvantage. Barnum urges his readers to cultivate the habit of reading newspapers regularly, as doing so ensures that they remain competitive, well-informed, and prepared for the evolving demands of society. His message is clear: those who fail to keep up with the times risk being left behind. The 14th chapter, Beware of Outside Operations, warns against the dangers of venturing into speculative investments outside one's area of expertise. Barnum observes that many wealthy individuals, after achieving success in their primary business, become overconfident and are lured into risky schemes by the belief that everything he touches turns into gold. He cautions that when people forget that their success was built on economical habits, rectitude of conduct, and personal attention to a business which he understood, they become vulnerable to financial ruin. The temptation to invest large sums in unfamiliar ventures often leads to a dangerous cycle. First, a small investment with the promise of quick returns, then additional funds to cover unforeseen costs until the entire fortune is lost when the bubble bursts. Barnum stresses that while supporting beneficial enterprises is commendable, one must never jeopardize a fortune that he has earned in a legitimate way by investing it in things in which he has had no experience. His message is clear: true success lies in mastering one's own trade, not in gambling on unproven ventures driven by speculation and blind optimism. The 15th chapter, Don't Endorse Without Security, serves as a strong caution against the common but dangerous practice of signing as a guarantor for others' financial obligations. Barnum warns that no man should ever endorse a note or become security for another, to a greater extent than he can afford to lose and care nothing about, without taking good security. He illustrates how easily this trap ensnares even cautious individuals. First, they sign a note for a seemingly trustworthy friend, believing there is no real risk. Encouraged by initial success, they continue endorsing larger sums until one day they discover that their friend has not only lost his own fortune, but has also dragged them into financial ruin. Barnum describes how easy money tempts people into reckless speculation, stating that it is a very dangerous thing to let people get possession of money too easily. It tempts them to hazardous speculations, if nothing more. He supports his argument with wisdom from Solomon: "He that hateth suretiship is sure," reinforcing that financial prudence requires resisting the impulse to guarantee others' debts. His lesson is clear: financial generosity should never come at the expense of one's own security. The 16th chapter, Advertise Your Business, emphasizes the necessity of making one's products or services known to the public, arguing that even the best goods will not sell if no one knows they exist. Barnum asserts that if a man has ever so good an article for sale and nobody knows it, it will bring him no return. In a country where newspapers circulate by the thousands, he insists that failing to use them as a tool for reaching customers is a costly mistake. Comparing advertising to farming, he explains that success follows the same principle. The whole philosophy of life is, first sow, then reap. Just as a farmer must plant his crops before expecting a harvest, a business owner must invest in advertising before expecting profits. However, he warns against half-hearted attempts, stating that advertising is like learning. A little is a dangerous thing. Those who place a small, infrequent ad and then claim advertising doesn't work misunderstand its power. Barnum's message is clear: consistent, strategic advertising is not an expense, but an investment, ensuring that potential customers become aware of and seek out a business, ultimately leading to financial success. The 17th chapter, Be Polite and Kind to Your Customers, underscores the crucial role of courtesy and respect in business, emphasizing that a pleasant demeanor can directly impact financial success. Barnum asserts that politeness and civility are the best capital ever invested in business, arguing that customers prefer to spend their money where they feel valued. A merchant who treats customers rudely or indifferently not only risks losing their business, but also drives them into the arms of competitors. He insists that the man who gives the customers a pleasant smile, a cheerful word, and a little attention will not lose anything by it. People naturally gravitate toward those who make them feel welcome and respected, and a small act of kindness can transform a one-time buyer into a loyal patron. Barnum warns against arrogance and condescension, reminding business owners that success often hinges on maintaining good relations with clients. Ultimately, his message is clear. Genuine politeness and kindness are not just virtues, but powerful tools for ensuring prosperity in any enterprise. The 18th chapter, Be Charitable, highlights the importance of generosity and benevolence, not only as moral virtues, but also as sound business principles. Barnum firmly believes that he who is without charity is worse than dead, emphasizing that true success is measured not just in wealth, but in one's contributions to society. He argues that helping those in need, whether through direct aid, supporting institutions, or offering opportunities, is not merely an act of kindness, but a way to create goodwill and lasting relationships. The best kind of charity, he asserts, is to help a man help himself, suggesting that empowering others to become self-sufficient is far more valuable than temporary relief. At the same time, he warns against thoughtless giving, cautioning that indiscriminate charity can do more harm than good, as it may encourage laziness rather than self-improvement. Ultimately, Barnum's message is clear. Wealth should not be hoarded, but used wisely to uplift others, for in doing so, one enriches not only the lives of the less fortunate, but also their own reputation, business, and inner fulfillment. The 19th chapter, Don't Blab, stresses the importance of discretion and the dangers of excessive talk, particularly in business. Barnum warns that a man who talks too much is sure to say something that will injure him, emphasizing that careless speech can lead to lost opportunities, damaged reputations, and even financial ruin. He advises business people to keep their affairs private, as revealing too much can invite unnecessary competition or allow rivals to take advantage of their plans. Say what is necessary, and no more, he insists, cautioning against the temptation to boast or disclose confidential matters to friends and acquaintances who may not have their best interests at heart. Furthermore, he highlights that true wisdom often lies in knowing when to remain silent, for a wise man listens more than he speaks. Barnum's overarching message is that restraint in speech is a powerful asset, ensuring not only business success, but also personal respect and trustworthiness in all aspects of life. The 20th chapter, Preserve Your Integrity, emphasizes that honesty and moral character are essential to lasting success. Barnum firmly asserts that integrity is more valuable than riches, arguing that wealth gained through deceit is fleeting, while a good reputation endures. He warns that dishonesty in business, whether through fraud, broken promises, or misleading customers, inevitably leads to failure, as a man who cheats will soon be known, and when his character is gone, all is lost. Instead, he advises business people to be truthful in all their dealings, maintaining fairness and trustworthiness even when it may seem easier to take shortcuts. Make it a rule to do right under all circumstances, he insists, reminding readers that those who uphold their principles will ultimately gain the confidence of customers, partners, and society at large. Barnum's final lesson is clear. Integrity is not just a moral virtue, but the foundation of true prosperity, ensuring not only financial success, but also personal satisfaction and long-term respect.